Okay, so just to start with a little overview of what we're going to cover today. So firstly, going to give you a little bit of context around what we're putting in place for each of you at your venues, bit of an introduction around sort of our role at First Degree and how we're going to support you going forwards. I want to just touch on the Slack channels quickly and what they're going to be used for. And then today we're really going to focus on the coach lockers. So each of you are going to have a login to your own coach locker. And I want to start to just go into a few of the key things that you need to firstly do within that area to set it up, and then also how you can use it, especially in the short term, for booking one-to-one lessons and managing lessons in the schedule. So I'm quickly going to jump out of this and get a new screen up. So initially, we're just going to use the example of Royal Mid Surrey. I think a couple of you on the call are from Royal Mid Surrey. So a bit of context for what we're putting in place for you guys is we're putting in place, from a technology perspective, a front-end website which will showcase all of the services that you all offer at your coaching venues. So with the Royal Mid Surrey one, you'll have an online site which will showcase all of those services that you can refer customers onto. Hopefully it will allow you to capture new leads and then turn those leads obviously into bookings. And then linked together with the front end website is the management system which sits alongside it. So within the management system, there's the capability of an online booking system for your customers, an online coaching store where they can purchase gift cards and packages, and then a management system in the back end where you as the coaches can log in and manage your relationship with your students, and your students can also log in as well to engage with you and obviously your services. So the system is web-based, and there is an app that you're going to be able to use. So to access the system, you can do that obviously through a web browser, you can do it on your phone or through the app, as long as you've got a 3G, 4G connection or obviously a Wi-Fi connection. So to start with, I just want to jump into how you would log in. So the login that you're going to be given from me on an email is your login to your coach locker. And it's the same login that you use for the app as well. So it's only one login that you have to use. And to access the login page, in the Royal Mid Surrey example here, the URL would be Royal Mid Surrey followed by the word locker.firstdegree.golf, and that will essentially get you through to this page, which is the first page of the booking system. In the top right hand corner, you'll see the button login. If you're on the front end website, so in this example Royal Mid Surrey, you can see in the top right hand corner a tab for My Locker Login, which again will take you through to the same page. And then to log in, you're simply going to enter the username and password that I give you on the email. So for the purpose of the training session, we're going to use the demo site to give you a bit of a tour around the things that you need to do. So to log in, you would enter obviously the username and password. And again, the same username and password for the app. And hit sign in. And the first couple of things that I want to show you is in the top right hand corner here, you can see two tabs, Coach and Pro Shop. So these are two different user levels that you will have access to. So Coach is your own coach locker, and Pro Shop is a front of house area that can be used by your front of house teams in the Pro Shop at each of your venues, but it can also be used by you to see the coaching schedules of all the coaches within your venue, which is going to be useful for you in terms of being able to see those schedules, but also navigating the availability of certain resources. So resources within the system are single-use facilities. So at Royal Mid Surrey, you've got an indoor studio. Patchesome, you've got a putting lab and an indoor studio as well. So you can navigate across those views. You know that you're in the area when it's highlighted in blue. If you want to navigate to the other user level, then you just click on the tab at the top and you'll see that it then will change to blue. So we're now moving into the Pro Shop user level. And as we can see here within this view, you can see the schedule of all of the coaches within your venue, and you can navigate either across those coaches to see a week by week view of the availability, or you can navigate to the single day view button, which will show you the availability of all coaches on a single day. And it's through the ProShop view that you can book lessons and classes as well. So if we go back to the coach area, the first couple of things I want to go over, which will be a task for you after this call, when I give you the login information, will be to change your password and also to make sure that the email address that's added to your account is correct. So to do that, you're going to navigate to the plus icon next to the bio image. And to change the password, you navigate across to the personal details section and click on the tab change password. And in here, you can insert the password that I send you and then create a new password for your account. Once you've done that, you just simply click save. Then if we navigate to the tab that says edit full profile, you can see here the personal detail information that relates to your coach locker. So the key action from today's call is to make sure that the email address that's inserted in this section here is correct for where you want to receive any confirmation emails and reminders. So when a customer books onto a class that you may be running, or they make a custom fitting or a one-to-one lesson booking, then you will receive a confirmation email and a reminder of that booking. So it's important that the email address here is correct. So I'm going to do the setup of that for you, working with your head professionals, but when you log in, just have a double check that that's correct. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is how you can set up your coaching schedule to receive bookings. So to do that, we're going to navigate across to the schedule tab. And if we navigate down to the bottom of the page, we can see here the section coach schedule, which gives you a week view, and you can navigate across the weeks using the arrows. At the moment, the section is totally gray, which means we haven't added any availability to the schedule. So if a customer went on the app, or they went onto the web-based system, or your front of house team went onto the schedule, they wouldn't see any availability for you to take bookings. So we need to understand how we open up the schedule and then manage the schedule availability. Now, with your head pros might be doing this for you. And I'm going to have a call with them in the next day or two, but I want to go through how you can obviously navigate that moving forwards. So the first thing that we need to do is set the coach schedule duration. So essentially what that does is sets the lead time, or how many weeks ahead you want your schedule to be visible to customers or your front of house team. So you can set that to up to 25 weeks. But for the purpose of this call, I'm going to set it to 4 weeks. So whatever schedule availability we add will be open for 4 weeks ahead. So once you set the schedule duration that you're happy with, you just click save. The next thing that we need to do is then add our one-to-one lesson prices. So all of you within your venues, I think, charge the same pricing, and this might again be set up for you by your head professional. But if you want to edit the pricing or change the pricing at any point, you can do that within this section here. So the options that you'll see here, certainly just because of the COVID-19 situation, obviously the issues with the indoor studios at the moment, you'll see one-to-one lesson prices, you'll see a junior one-to-one section, and you'll see custom fittings. And the durations that are visible there will be defined by your head professional. So to insert a price, you just navigate to the box and you add the price without the currency, go down to the bottom of the page and click save. And that means that when a customer books a lesson online or you process a booking, that then that price will be attached to the duration of the lesson. So the next thing we then need to do is set up the coach schedule availability. So to do that, we navigate down to the section where we can see here, day, start time, end time. And what we're going to do is look at how we open up our schedule on set coaching days. So you may have coaching days that you always coach on. So let's say it's a Monday, Tuesday and a Saturday, or you may have coaching days that change week to week. So in the first example of where we want to add set coaching days, we use this section to open up our schedule availability. So to do that, we click on the plus icon and we choose the day of the week. So let's go Monday, and we're going to open up our schedule availability so that we can coach between the hours of 8 AM and 10 PM. Then we're going to go ahead and hit save. Once it refreshes, if we navigate down to the coach schedule section, we can now see that the Monday is now green, so that the schedule is now available between 8 AM and 10 PM. And if we navigate across the weeks, we'll see that schedule available for the 4 weeks ahead, which is the duration that we've added. So let's go ahead and add 2 more. So we're going to add Tuesday between 8 and 4 and hit save, and Saturday between 12 and 6. So we now have our schedule available on those days and durations, and that will be set for every week in the schedule to tie in with the coach schedule duration. Now, let's say that you then want to open up your diary on a particular day within the month. So let's say you don't ordinarily coach on Thursdays, but you're going to coach on Thursday the 4th. We can open up that scheduled day by using the ad hoc schedule button. So what that will do is open up the schedule on that single day, but it won't affect your schedule on the other Thursdays for the schedule duration. So let's open up the schedule for Thursday the 6th by clicking on ad hoc. We define the duration and we define the date. And hit save. So now that we can see that the schedule is open on a Thursday between 12 and 5, but if we go to the next week, we can see how the schedule isn't open on Thursday the 11th. Now, if your schedules maybe change week to week, what I'd recommend is that you open up the schedule on every single day of the week. So every single day of the week would be open on the schedule. And you then use the add leave function to block out unavailable times. So whether you're doing the schedule on set days or you're going to open up the schedule for the entire week, you use the add leave function to block out unavailable times. So an example might be on Monday, the 8th of June, you coach on a Monday, but you have some shop hours between 8 AM and 12. So what you would do is you'd click on the add leave, and in the leave schedule pop-up, you can choose the type of leave that you add. I'd recommend at this stage you always use the other functionality, and by choosing other, you can then give a description. So we'll go Pro Shop, and we'll set the leave date as the 8th, and we'll choose that we're going to block out our schedule between 8 AM and 12 as we're in the golf shop, and hit save. And we can now see that we have a black block that's added over the top of that duration, which means that the schedule will be unavailable to be booked between 8 AM and 12. So that's the key thing with setting up the schedule and then adding the leaves to your schedule. Again, your head pros and myself, First Degree, might be doing some of this for you in the short term, but initially understanding how you can do that is important. After this call in the next few days, I'm going to be sharing this video with you and some tutorials around doing these key tasks that you can review. And as ever, you can always get in contact with me for further help. So what we're now going to do is look quickly at students. So mainly we're going to look at where you can find student information that already exists within the system and how you can add students. Just quickly to touch on the schedule, most of you will be using the app for managing your schedule, and lessons, as long as you enable the calendar option on your phone, will appear within any of the calendars that you do. And you'll mainly be updating your schedules from within the app. But in the interim, you can certainly do that through the web-based platform. So along the top here, we can see the tab Students. So if we navigate across to Students, this is the section where you'll see all of the students that have either had a one-to-one lesson, custom fitting, or class booking with you. And what we're going to do is we're going to log out of this user account and we're going to log back into a new account that's got customer information attached to it. So I'm going to log in now as a separate account. It's a good question, Mark. So Mark's asked if our weeks stay the same, is there any way of copying the leaves week to week, or does it need to be done manually? So if you coach on set dates, Mark, then you would only open up the schedule on the days that you plan to teach. Any additional days outside of that, you can use the ad hoc function. And then you only need to add leaves to the days the schedule is open, so that obviously any unavailable times are blocked out. If you haven't opened up those days in the schedule, then they will never show as available. So you don't need to do anything with that. It's a good question. So now I'm just going to quickly navigate to the coach section on this, this account. And this is an account now which has got some data added into it in terms of students. So firstly, on the page here, we can see an overview of upcoming lessons and insights around your coaching performance. And the first thing here is that you can add a student through the Insights section named as Students. And simply by clicking the plus icon, you can create the customer's account. So add all of the personal information, click Add Student, and that student will then be created within the system, and the customer will receive an account registration email with their login information. Students are also created at the point of a booking being made, either through the Coach Locker, the app, or through the ProShop area. So once a student account is created, you don't then need to create that student again. If we navigate to the student section, we can now see that we've got a list of students that are associated with our account, and we can navigate through these students by using the quick search function. You can also add a student by clicking on the plus icon, and by clicking on a student name, you'll then be taken to the student's locker area. And it's within this section that there's certain features, but the main thing to begin with is to be able to view that student's personal details. So if you need to get contact information or an email address, then you can do that through the student profile section. Okay, so now that we've set up our schedule, we've looked a little bit at students, we're now going to look at how we would book a lesson. So let's go back to the Royal Mid Surrey locker to give you an overview. So the way in which the booking system works is you can make lesson bookings via one of two methods. You can do it through the booking system journey, or you can do it through the ProShop schedule. So the way in which the system is designed is through a filter system, where you select the program category that the booking relates to. So in this example, we have 3 examples: one-to-one, junior one-to-one, and custom fitting. The 3 program filters are different because we can associate different prices to each duration, and we can also associate different durations to each program category. So once the program filter is selected, you can then decide on the duration of the lesson that you want to book. After selecting the duration, let's go back to the demo site. So after selecting the duration, and again, the duration will be defined by me and your head professionals on setup, you can then choose the coach that the booking relates to. So if you're logged in through your Coach Locker account, it will already pre-select you as the coach, and we can now see our schedule availability below. So red times indicate time that has elapsed. Green times indicate available lesson times, and then we can see our lessons that are reserved through lesson bookings within the schedule. And to process a booking, you would simply click on the duration that you want to book and click Book Now. and you'll then be taken through to the checkout page. So it's at this stage that you can create a student if they're new, or you can select a student from the student database. So by selecting the student or searching through the students and clicking the radio icon, you can then click Book Now. And you'll then see that the information is already completed within the checkout page. You can add some student notes, which will appear on a confirmation email. So if you want to put in a note around where to meet the customer or what equipment they might need to bring, you can use the Student Notes tab. And internal notes will only be visible to you and the ProShop user level. They won't be visible to a student. And finally, then you just define the payment option. So there's a couple of methods here. Your accounts will be set up integrated with Stripe. So if the customer is there with you, then you can add payment information and process the payment through the checkout. You can also do that through the app, and also you can do that retrospectively through the schedule. You can also choose the Pay at Academy option, which essentially means that the booking will be processed and no payment will be taken, and you will then need to update the schedule with when that lesson is paid and the means it is paid by. So if the customer pays you directly or maybe in the ProShop. And the last option is then to be able to choose package. So the system works with package credits. So let's take the example of 6 30-minute lessons. If someone buys 6 30-minute lessons in bulk, the system will be set up so that 180 credits are added to the customer's account. This gives you flexibility in that you can use the credits as 30-minute lessons, or if a customer wanted to book an hour lesson, then you can also process a booking and it will deduct a credit for each minute of coaching time. So in this example, with Demo Basic, we can, when we process the booking, it will deduct 30 credits from the customer's account. So if the customer has package credits in their account, because the duration of the lesson is 30 minutes, we can then apply the package credits to that. So let's process this booking using the Pay at Academy option. There's a couple of steps here which we'll touch on in a further training session or in our training tutorials around applying gift card codes and discount codes to a booking. So to process the booking, you simply click Book Now. The red circle will appear, which is indicating that the booking is being processed. And then the page will refresh and it will indicate that it's been processed. It's then at this point that you'll receive a confirmation email and the customer will also receive a confirmation email as well. So navigating back to the schedule, we should see that booking appear within the schedule, which it is just here on the 28th. And to give you an overview of the colors, black indicates the leaves that we've added, so they're the times that we're unavailable. Red indicates a lesson that is booked that is currently unpaid. Green indicates a lesson that is booked that is currently marked as paid. The icon next to this booking here for Daniel Evans indicates that this is a booking that's in the studio. And the yellow time here indicates a class booking. So we're not going to touch on classes today, obviously with the COVID-19 situation. We'll do some further training on that. But yellow are class bookings within your schedule. The other color that you'll see is purple, and purple indicates a lesson that has been paid via credit or debit card. So the payment has already been processed through the Stripe account. The next method that you can use to process a booking is through ProShop. So if we navigate to ProShop, again in ProShop, you can look across all of the coaches' schedules or choose your schedule. Hopefully the internet plays ball. Yeah, it's a great question, Pete. So Pete's asked, will the system stop double bookings of the studio at the same time with different coaches? So yes, it will. So when you go on the booking system, when the studios are set up and you indicate that you want to make a studio booking, you'll see that the studio is unavailable in the schedule through an icon. It will indicate that the studio is currently being used, or in the schedule itself, once the schedule is booked, it can't be booked again for the same duration. So yes, there can't be double bookings within a studio space. Just quickly refresh the page. We're going to do a further training, everyone, on for Royal Mid Surrey and Patchesome around the studios once the COVID-19 situation obviously moves on a little bit and you guys can start using those indoor spaces. So we're now in ProShop, and again, you can process a booking through the ProShop area. You can again use the booking system if you want, or you can also use the schedule view. So you can use the schedule view to book one-to-one lessons, and you do that by choosing the duration, and you then need to select the coach. So I'm going to go ahead and select training coach. The page will refresh, and then it will show the availability within the schedule. So we can see here now we've selected the duration as 45 minutes. We can now see all of the 45-minute durations that are available. When you see a yellow time, it means that that duration is available, but not for 45 minutes. So it's only available for 30 minutes. In this example here, if we wanted to start the lesson at 3:30, we can process a 30-minute duration, but we can't process a 45-minute duration as we haven't opened up our schedule past 4 o'clock. To process the booking, you would simply click on Book Now on the duration and click Book Now. And then once again, you're taken to the checkout page where you can select the student or create a student. And again, it's at this stage where you can add the package credits. So in this example, let's choose Demo Pupil and navigate down to, let's go and choose a lesson that's got a cost associated with it. That would be good. So this one's got a cost of £25. If the cost is zero on any durations, guys, then it won't ask you for payment at checkout. So let's go ahead and choose a student that's got some package credits in their account. So we can now go down to the payment option. We know this customer has got package credits in their account. We can go ahead and choose the package option. We now have a red arrow that appears. We can click on the red arrow and we can now see the packages that are available. Hi, Mark, that's a good question, Mark. So I've got calls with each of the head pros today and tomorrow. We'll be confirming when we're going to go live with using the system and the app. So that will be coordinated to you, Mark. So yeah, the app's going to be shortly available. We're going to let you all know through the Slack channel when you can go on and download that. So to apply the package details, you click on the icon, click Apply Credits, and we can now see that a package number has been added. And we simply now need to go ahead and click Book Now. And that's now been processed. If we navigate back to the schedule, 28th at 10 o'clock, we can see now that that lesson's been added to the schedule and it's green, meaning it's been paid, and it's been paid through the package credits just there. So the last thing we're going to go over now is looking at how we manage some of the lessons that exist within our schedule. So to do that, you can navigate either to the My Locker tab just here. And again, you can do all of this through the app. It's the same flow. And we can see our schedule here in this section. Alternatively, we can navigate to the Schedule tab. And again, we can navigate down to the page and we can now see our schedule and navigate across the weeks. So the first scenario would be if a customer wants to move a lesson. So they want to keep the lesson, but they want to move it to a different time or a different date. So to do that, you would simply click on the correct booking within the schedule. So let's have a go at moving Demo Basic at 9:30. And to move the lesson, you navigate to the Move Lesson button and you choose the lesson date. So let's have a go at moving this to Sunday. And we're going to move it to 10 a.m. And once we've done that, we need to go ahead and click save. And we can see that now the booking is moved across to Sunday at 10 o'clock. If you want to move a lesson to a different time on the same day, then you would again click the move lesson. You would keep the lesson date the same, and then you would just change the time. And you only need to select the start time, and it will automatically update the schedule for the duration that the lesson is booked for. Let's say now in the second scenario that you have a customer who wants to delete a lesson. So they want to remove the lesson from the schedule. They're not sure when they want to rebook. You can do that again by finding the lesson within the schedule, clicking on the schedule. And we now have two options. We have the option to reschedule and delete. Now, the reschedule button is used when when the lesson is marked as paid. So whenever you see a green time, if a customer wants to delete that lesson from the schedule, they've already paid for that lesson, whether that's through a gift card, whether it's through package credits, or whether it's through paying directly to you or through the online payment system. So it's important that in this example, we don't just delete the lesson, we reschedule the lesson. So by clicking reschedule and hitting continue, the lesson will be removed, but you'll then see a pop-up which says that the voucher is sent. So what that means is that the package credits will be added back into the customer's account for them to use again in the future. If we have any lessons that are currently unpaid, then we can go ahead, click and delete the lesson. So by clicking delete lesson, the lesson will be removed from the schedule. And as this customer hasn't paid, then no credits will be reimbursed to their account. The last thing to quickly cover is retrospectively how you can update the payments status. So let's say here with Daniel Evans, we've processed the booking in the schedule, but we want to update his payment that the lesson's marked as paid. So maybe Daniel's paid through the golf shop, maybe he's paid you directly, or if we have the customer in front of us or over the phone, we can process the payment using the integrated payment system. So to do that, you would navigate to the lesson and you would click change payment type. And it's through here that you can either choose pay by card and you can enter the payments information, or you can choose packages to apply any package credits. Daniel here doesn't have any package credits on account, which is why we're seeing an alert for no packages available. If the customer pays you directly or through cash, or they pay in the golf shop, I certainly don't think with discussions with the head pros that most people would pay you cash, but it might happen, is you simply need to go to mark as paid and update the paid status by selecting cash. So by selecting cash, you just click save, and we can now see that the lesson has changed to green. So I'm just going to quickly come out of this screen and bring the PowerPoint back up.